Caitlin Clark, by the way, absolutely silenced everybody yesterday. The woke media was all on her. I hate to even mention this complete jackass, Jamel Hill, and others were all in her business. It's white privilege. She hits these threes. Man, I don't give a damn if it's white, black, or green privilege. Jamel Hill, she blames the media for covering Caitlin Clark. She's tremendous on television. What a missed opportunity for the national media to really evaluate who she was as a person. Why? Whereas it feels like our black athletes get the same amount of coverage, whereas for black athletes to get the same amount of coverage or even fair coverage, there has to be something extra beyond basketball. No. You choose to do that. You don't need anything extra.
What if I told you the WNBA just turned into a daytime soap opera written by Twitter? Because now Jamil Hill is throwing around the R word like it's a no-look pass, and Caitlin Clark somehow ended up as a villain in a story featuring leaked footage, side eyes, and Ryan Howard ready to square up. Is it basketball or Bravo reunion? Brace yourselves. This drama has more twists than a crossover in overtime.
Jamel Hill. The fact that she believes that Caitlin Clark is receiving more coverage than a lot of the other black players. I don't like that Jamel Hill said this. I feel like she's always looking for an excuse to race bait. That's her whole identity, and I just don't like this. Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. She is just that good. She's setting all types of records, scoring, assists. I mean, she is incredible. So she deserves the amount of coverage.
Oh, goody. Just when you thought the WNBA couldn't squeeze one more drop of drama out of Caitlin Clark's rookie season without exploding like a soda can in a microwave, here comes a 4K, ultra-high-definition gladiator cage match between Indiana Fever star attraction and Atlanta Dream's Ryan Howard. Because apparently, no one plays basketball anymore. It's just low-budget Game of Thrones in gym shorts.
Quarters. Well, guess what? One of the master race baiters from the world of sports, if you still want to say she's involved in the world of sports, is back at it again. I'm talking about Jamel Hill, who is one of the integral reasons why Around the Horn no longer exists on ESPN.
The latest episode of Let's See Who Can Body Slam Caitlin Clark Without Getting Ejected aired live from a hardwood floor somewhere in America. And the internet, ever the voice of calm and reason, decided to host a civil, thoughtful discussion about it. Just kidding. They lit it on fire and tossed it into a volcano.
One person that's been definitely weighing in on this Caitlin Clark drama has been Jamil Hill. This is season 2 of Caitlin Clark and the Fever, and now we have a new Jamil Hill rant. She is one person that's been pretty vocal about everything. The Angel Reese situation, now this Ryan Howard thing, which I thought was not a big deal whatsoever. Reported on it yesterday. She did kind of get into Caitlin Clark's head, kind of psyched her out. I believe that's why Caitlin Clark played so bad. But some new footage has emerged of the incident.
So what happened this time? Oh, just a casual sideline encounter where Ryan Howard decided to go full Secret Service detail on Caitlin, pressing her like she was trying to get state secrets out of her. And then came the now infamous line, caught on MIC, or possibly just lip-read by 47 million internet sleuths and their cats. I'm not scared of you and you in Atlanta.
Got Caitlin Clark taken aback, and you can see the hold there. Then Ryan Howard doesn't like that. And there's some words between the two players as Naz Hillman quickly comes over and gets her bestie out of the scuffle.
Which if you're wondering, is basically the WNBA equivalent of slapping someone across the face with a velvet glove in 18th century France. Pistols at dawn. Anyone? And just when the smoke hadn't even settled from that spicy exchange, here comes Jamil Hill sliding into the chaos with all the subtlety of a wrecking ball dipped in lighter fluid. According to Hill, everyone needs to calm down because this is just competition. You know, the same kind of competition that requires body checks, intentional bumps, and the occasional psychological warfare.
We're going to be talking about something that was an interesting one. It was a really, really interesting one, and it was the kind of interactions between Ryan Howard and Caitlin Clark. And if we're going to be honest, Ryan Howard 100% got the better. Ryan Howard, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, got the better of Caitlin Clark today on both ends of the floor. But these were some hilarious responses. So Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard get into it here. So Ryan Howard he was fouling Caitlin Clark the whole game and is going into Caitlin Clark coming back to Ryan Howard. I'm not scared of you.
Apparently, Caitlin Clark isn't being targeted. She's just experiencing character development. Sure, if by character development, you mean being elbowed in the kidneys every other possession and being guarded like she stole someone's lunch money. But don't worry, this isn't about race. Except, wait, Now it kind of is, because Hill strongly hinted that Clark's popularity and the protectiveness around her might have undertones, racial ones, because obviously the only reason people are concerned that Clark is getting mugged miserable is because she's white, not because she's, say, the face of a league that desperately needs eyeballs and is being tackled like a running back every night. Of course, Hill fans applauded her take, nodding along like she just cured WNBA Twitter of its collective sinus infection. Meanwhile, actual sports fans, who watched Clark get harassed like she's a mosquito at a barbecue, started questioning if it was watching the same league or just throwing darts at hot takes written in crayon.
I have to talk about this, the post from Brittney Griner, and one thing I don't understand is that, like, there is some kind of flimsy evidence, I guess. Like, we're not lip readers. We're not lip readers. She probably says trash. Like, it sounds like she has said. It looks like what it apparently says is effing white.
But let's pause here and address the absolutely bonkers reality we're all living in. Caitlin Clark might be the only person on earth who can score 30 points and still get blamed for breathing too loudly near another player. And let's talk about the coaching. Because if you think this is just players going rogue with WWE moves, think again. Some of these coaches are drawing up plays like, okay, Amber, you full court press her until she questions her life choices. Jada, I want you to accidentally hip check her into the third row. And Megan, you're on eyebrow duty, intimidating scowls only. The strategy is simple. Shut down Caitlin Clark, and you shut down the whole Indiana Fever. And maybe, just maybe, you get 5 seconds on Sports Center before they cut back to LeBron's summer workout montage. But let's be clear, this isn't tough defense. This is an exorcism disguised as a basketball game. You've got players swiping at her like she's a mosquito in July. 1 minute she's dribbling up the court, and the next she's tangled in someone's limbs like it's a scene from Mission Impossible. Elbow protocol.
That should be celebrated, and it's because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. What's your opinion if they want your opinion, man, early on, because everybody is looking for you to say anything, and they're going to splice it and cut it and make it a negative thing. And I think for her, the one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. I saw for the first time that they had a chartered plane.
And yet somehow, every time a player body checks her into next week, the media responds with a resounding, "Meh, that's just basketball." Really? Because I played basketball, and at no point did I have to consider wearing a mouth guard to prevent biting my own tongue during a headlock. The whole thing has gotten so bad that Caitlin probably checks under her bed for defenders before she sleeps. Let's not forget the Kennedy Carter incident. Because nothing screams normal basketball contact like walking into someone's back at the speed of sound for no reason other than pure hostility. It wasn't defense. It was pent-up Twitter rage, the musical. And now it's Ryan Howard's turn. Another episode. Another chapter in how to pretend this is just hustle when it's actually a mugging. But the cherry on this flaming Sunday? Jameel Hill retweeting the video and lecturing everyone like she's a WNBA Supreme Court. She's basically telling fans, calm down, peasants. This is how competition works. It's not targeted, it's not excessive, it's just spirited aggression wrapped in a hug of animosity. Meanwhile, Clark is out there getting cross-checked like she owes someone child support. But don't worry, it's just intensity. You want to know what's not just basketball? Repeatedly targeting the league's most marketable player like she's wearing a jersey that says, "Please tackle me. I enjoy it." If Caitlin Clark were a Disney princess, every other player will be the evil stepsister trying to steal her shoes and push her down the stairs.
But it was a rough night for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Last night, she only scored 3 points and a blowout loss to the New York Liberty. But it was a game on Saturday between the Fever and the Chicago Sky that had a lot of people talking. Fans were so hyped for Caitlin, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso to all be back on the same court. However, the moment that made headlines, this right here, the hard foul involving Clark and
the WNBA leadership? Oh, they are doing a fantastic job standing up for player safety. By fantastic, I mean they are hiding under their desks, praying the ratings don't drop if Clark decides to play overseas next season, where, rumor has it, basketball is actually played with, get this, rules. And let's talk about the league's leadership one more time, shall we? Where's the WNBA commissioner? On vacation? Meditating in a soundproof tank? Because while Caitlin Clark is out here being treated like she's trying to cross enemy lines, the top brass is MIA. If you listen closely, you can actually hear the silence of leadership in Dolby Atmos. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Well, she asked for it. She's popular. Oh, okay. So being famous means it's open season? That's the logic now? Better tell Beyoncé to watch out for elbow drops at her next concert. Clark didn't crown herself the face of the WNBA. The league did. The networks did. The fans did. And now she's being treated like she tried to cheat on American gladiators. She's become the Hunger Games tribute of women's basketball.
Foul down at 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier.
Is literally driven so many eyeballs to the game. Like they ain't flying commercial, they're flying charter. They're gonna make more money. They're playing on ESPN consistently. People are actually talking about it. Now they talk about it through the vein of Caitlin Clark. You're never going to hear a topic on ESPN discussed that doesn't involve Caitlin Clark somehow, most likely.
And let's not ignore the fact that this let's beat her into submission strategy is probably the dumbest idea since someone decided to reboot Cats. You think it's going to work long term? Spoiler alert, it won't. Because if Caitlin Clark gets injured, or worse, walks away, then congratulations. You just lost your golden goose and handed her to the EuroLeague, where she'll be scoring 50 points per game while sipping espresso and being defended with, like, actual basketball skills. And here's the part the WNBA should really worry about. Clark takes millions of fans with her. The same fans who finally found the WNBA interesting, engaging, and marketable. The same fans who bought tickets, jerseys, and ESPN Plus subscriptions just to watch her get body slammed like it's WrestleMania, Rookie Edition. If she walks, it's not just a player leaving. It's a mass exodus. The WNBA will be left wondering where all the cameras went while trying to promote a double overtime nail biter between Connecticut and Chicago that gets fewer views than a cooking tutorial for toast. And look, this isn't about protecting Clark because she's a princess. It's about not normalizing assault as a defensive tactic. This isn't hockey. You don't need to fight someone every time they hit a three-pointer.
Caitlin Clark's treatment by other players on the court is just getting to be egregious. Because as we saw Trinity Carter, she hip-checked Caitlin Clark from behind. At the same time calling her the B word. You could see Angel Reese over on the sideline cheering. This is treatment that Caitlin Clark is receiving for very specific reasons. I think we really need to focus on the race part of all of this, because I do believe that if Caitlin Clark were this amazing and she were not white, nobody would have an issue with it. They probably would be propping her up, celebrating her greatness. And another question that I keep asking myself when reading the coverage on this is what would happen if the roles were reversed?
We're not saying Clark shouldn't be challenged. She should. She's a pro athlete. But there's a difference between competitive fire and full-blown vendetta. What we're seeing now isn't defense. It's a contact sport plus a personal grudge minus the whistles. And you know what the most ironic part is? Clark probably doesn't even want the protection. She's out there playing her guts out, not flopping for sympathy. But that doesn't mean she should be used as a punching bag for every frustrated guard with a chip on her shoulder and a Twitter beef to settle. The saddest part of all, I can't even imagine this is fun for her anymore. Every game feels like it's just a countdown to the next incident, the next altercation, the next ridiculous hot take about how she brings it on herself. It's absurd. The players are acting like they're being paid per shove. The coaches are acting like Sun Tzu wrote their playbook. And the league is acting like it'll all just sort itself out once the playoffs roll around. Newsflash, it won't. Not unless the WNBA grows a spine, disciplines a nonsense, and starts treating its stars like assets instead of cannon fodder.
One other thing I did want to talk about was the commentary, where it was slightly adversarial, kind of to the viewer and a little bit, I would say, to the WNBA. They were pounding heavy that this is how the women want to be treated. Unrivaled has gone above and beyond with the amenities for the players, down to having estheticians there. Of course, they have childcare options. They have, the gym, for complete first-class facilities in every aspect. And this has been, something that the players have really celebrated, and it seems like it's a directive from, the league,
Until then, enjoy the chaos. Episode 9 of Who Assaulted Caitlin Clark Today premieres next week, sponsored by Advil, bandages, and blind referees. Stay tuned, or don't, because if this keeps up, Caitlin might be tuning out for all of us. And here we are, Folks, smack dab in the center of what appears to be the WNBA's version of a political thriller, complete with locker room espionage, sideline surveillance, and a superstar being hunted like she's the last golden goose on a bankrupt farm. Except this time, the goose talks back, drains threes from the logo, and is apparently guilty of existing too loudly. Now let's just be clear. This whole thing has gone from basketball to bizarre faster than a technical foul on a bad call. We're not even pretending anymore. Somewhere between Caitlin Clark's jump shot and Ryan Howard's defensive deste, this stopped being about the game and turned into a Shakespearean drama about race, status, power, and whether or not a rookie is allowed to dribble in peace without catching a flying forearm to the solar plexus. Because apparently, if Caitlin Clark so much as breathes too hard near a defender, the WNBA transforms into a gladiator pit. But when she claps back with some spicy sideline energy, oh no, now it's a racial controversy. Suddenly, we've got PhDs in sociology logging into Twitter to diagnose microaggressions between layups.
Caitlin Clark had another, whatever you want to call it, confrontation in a WNBA game. Like, why is this happening? The Caitlin Clark phenomenon is one that I got wrong. I never really thought that Caitlin Clark would make the difference that she has in college basketball or in the WNBA. What other sports analogies are out there that are in any way similar to the impact that one individual has had on a larger sporting universe?
And then enters Jamil Hill, swinging her trademark hammer of hot takes with all the subtlety of a wrecking ball in a china shop. According to her, this is all just sports, just healthy competition. Nothing to see here. Move along. Keep your hands and logic inside the ride. Except here's the thing. When every other game ends with Caitlin getting bumped, bashed, barked at, and borderline body slammed, it's not competition anymore. It's a scavenger hunt for her ACL. Now let's pivot to the real tragedy in all this. Who on earth still thinks this is fun for Caitlin Clark? She came into the league with a promise of changing women's basketball, and instead, she's been handed a front row seat to a full-blown hazing ritual. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if her welcome gift from the league office was a Kevlar vest in a waiver form. Because let's be real, this isn't just physical defense. It's targeted warfare. Some of these teams are treating guarding Caitlin Clark like it's a quest from Game of Thrones. Defeat the chosen one and inherit the throne of relevance. Coaches are drawing up defensive plays like CIA missions. You sweep the leg. You block her with your entire body weight. You stare at her menacingly while pretending it's just part of your defensive stance.
The last game, Ryan Howard of the Atlanta Dream, she got in the face and tried to go after Caitlin Clark. Now, to Caitlin Clark's credit, she turned around and looked at her and said, "You don't scare me. You don't scare me." Caitlin Clark's getting fed up. And that's good. We know she put about 10 pounds of muscle on in the offseason. But nonetheless, these people want to try to tell you this is not about race? Stop the nonsense.
And what's the WNBA doing about it? Ah, yes, absolutely nothing. Maybe they're too busy planning another welcome women brunch. Because let's face it, when your league's biggest draw is getting targeted like she owes someone rent, maybe it's time for leadership to do more than post passive-aggressive tweets about letting the players play. But sure, let's keep pretending this is all normal. The generational talent can't go a single quarter without being elbowed into the popcorn vendor. And we're supposed to nod and say, it's just good defense. At this rate, Caitlin's going to need a bodyguard and a therapist before the All-Star break.